Hello there, everybody, and we're gonna take a look today at the. We're gonna have some NHL stuff in the background. We're just gonna chill and chill, and I'm gonna talk about the 2020 NHL playoffs here, and yeah, I mean we'll have a little bit of fun here, I think, as we talk about the potential for the Stanley Cup playoffs as they get ready to start. Sorry, just setting up some things.
Hi everybody, I'm James Cebulski, along with Ray Ferraro. We are so looking forward to the action on this one tonight. Wisconsin's back at home for an extended period, the first one going tonight.
They'd love to get off on a good start here. Always difficult, however, the first game after a road trip. Teams tend to come out a little heavy-legged and don't play very well.
All right, and the AI is going to, of course, play the game, so there's that. Yeah, I will talk about the, let's talk some NHL playoffs, shall we? As I set up myself for some other stuff here, just to make sure that we are all good.
Tries to make a diagonal pass to Parayko. Wisconsin's got a hold of it against the wall. Slides it quickly to Kapanen. And now he angles it across to Carlo. With the blast and a great save. St. Louis steps inside. Booming shot. Big time save on a big time shot. St. Louis.
All right, so there we go. I just wanted to make sure that got all that all set up here. And we do. So yeah, we're gonna talk the NHL here, and ain't that a kick in the head? But let's talk about the real playoffs, shall we? The real life playoffs while we get this all set up, and I'll give you my rundown and predictions. Because the real life NHL playoffs start tomorrow with the Boston Bruins and the Washington Capitals. It is going to be so weird seeing Zdeno Chara, longtime Boston Bruin, playing for the Washington Capitals against the Bruins. And then we've also got the Canucks and the Oilers playing in the Oilers' final regular season game. And the poor Canucks, they had a COVID outbreak, and now they actually have to face off against Edmonton, and then they have to play 4 games against Calgary because of COVID-19. So, oh, that was a really good hit for the video game. But, yeah, so that definitely kind of sucks for them, especially since the Canucks are not going to make the playoffs, or did not make the playoffs. Spoiler alert. Oh, yikes. So, anyways, as for what I think with the Bruins and the Capitals, I'll start with that series. I think that the Capitals, especially if Alex Ovechkin's injury, because he's had an injury that kept him out the last 2 or 3 weeks of the regular season, if he is fully recovered, I do not think that the Capitals are going to be it's going to be a good series, and I predict that it goes to 7 games, but I think the Capitals will overcome the Bruins. Now, the Bruins have played a lot better as of late. They were actually looking pretty bad at one point in the season, to the point where I was like, oh, the Bruins might not actually make the playoffs at one point, but they got their stuff together. The Bruins do have one of the most deadly top lines in all of hockey, probably second only to Edmonton, really, with David Pastrnak, Brad Marchand, and the name. It's right on the top of my head too. Why? And actually, it's kind of funny to think that Marchand, the rat-faced man himself, is actually the leader in goals and points and assists this year for the team. In a team where, when it comes to that line that I was talking about, what? God, this is going to drive me insane. I know the name of the third member of that top Boston line, and it's going to kill me because I don't. It's not on the top of my head right now. Forget it. It's not important. But yeah, I do think that the Capitals will get the job done. I think it'll be a very tough, gritty series, and I think a lot of people will probably want to see Tom Wilson and Brad Marchand go at it because of what happened with Wilson and the New York Rangers and just Brad Marchand's reputation. I am really looking forward to that face-off. They definitely need to have a good scrap or two in the playoffs. That's for sure. But yeah, like I said, I think that they get the job done. I think it's a very hard-fought series, but I think that Boston falls just short against the Capitals. And Patrice Bergeron. The name was gonna drive me crazy if I didn't actually get it eventually, and thankfully I did. So there's that. The next playoff series, and I'm going by the ones that are going to be played. Now, granted, most of them are starting. A good portion of the opening round series are starting on Sunday. The Vegas Golden Knights, they were pretty close to winning the President's Trophy, and instead they get the privilege of hosting the Minnesota Wild, who the Wild have done a really good job this year, especially Kaprizov. I can definitely see the Wild throwing a lot of money at him, or some team throwing a lot of money at him in the free agency period. Where did he come from? I don't know, but the Minnesota Wild needed a jolt like him in their lineup. And they take on, pretty much the well-rounded, the very well-rounded Vegas Golden Knights team that's been on the cusp of a cup. They've won, or they've made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. They got allegedly, kind of, sort of jobbed by the officials the year after, and in the bubble, they were playing pretty well, and then they just kind of imploded down the stretch, all things considered. In the conference finals, again, despite, or not the semifinals, but, despite having a really good team, seemingly, part of me wants to roll with the Wild because I think they've had a really, really good season, and they played a lot better than I think a lot of other people expected when the divisions were put together. I thought that they were being like maybe a dogfight for the last spot, not a 3, borderline a 2 seed. They only lost out on the 2 seed because of the fact that they weren't able to beat Colorado. If they had beaten Colorado, then they very well might have made the 2 seed. So, yeah, it'll be very interesting to see where it goes from here. Excuse me. But I do think that the Golden Knights will probably end up taking the series as much as I want Minnesota to. It'll probably be a 6-game series that the Golden Knights end up winning. That's just my opinion on it. Next, the Islanders and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Another good matchup. This is a rematch from the 2019 playoffs where the Islanders swept the Penguins. And the Penguins haven't had a whole lot of good luck coming into the playoffs since their back-to-back Cup wins. They finally were unable to, or the Capitals finally beat them, and then, of course, the Islanders beat them, and then they got jobbed pretty badly by the Montreal Canadiens last year, who were swept in a season series by the Detroit Red Wings, who in 2020 or 1920 were just absolutely abysmal, and it wasn't even close who the worst team in hockey was last year. It was the Red Wings, and the Canadiens lost every game that they played against that team. But I do think that the Pens actually surprisingly bounced back, and it's funny because they fired their GM, or their GM stepped down in Jim Rutherford, and since then they played, kind of okay, and Jeff Carter was actually a pretty good addition for the Pens overall. Sidney Crosby had a pretty good vintage year. He's definitely would have been on pace for at least 30, maybe 35 goals had the season been a normal one. And I don't know, this might be Crosby, though, in the Pens' last ride, though, because Malkin's not getting any younger. Neither is Letang, nor Crosby, like as I mentioned. And the Islanders, they're in a bit of a pickle because defensively they played pretty well as usual, but I don't know. This year was just a bit of a slog for them. I don't know if it was the division they were playing in with the teams they had to play against, the fact that maybe the competition was a bit tougher than they're used to, or just the fact that they missed a lot of players from their team. In particular, they missed Johnny Boychuk and his defensive influence and just grit and presence. I don't know if he makes an ultimate big difference this year, but you can definitely tell that a lot of guys on the roster were definitely trying to fight to fill that leadership role. I also think losing the captain, Anders Lee, for the year to injury definitely did not help the Islanders' case at all. They did make some trades at the deadline, basically taking on some of the better top 6 or more like top 9 forwards of the New Jersey Devils in order to fill forward depth because of Anders Lee's injury, and they've worked out okay. At the end of the day, I don't necessarily know if the Islanders have another attempt at a magical run. Last year, I actually picked the Islanders to go to Cup Finals, and they just ran out of gas towards the very end. But I do think that they can beat the Penguins. Now the question is, will they beat the Penguins? And you'll want to circle back to that phrase eventually, or I'm going to circle back to that phrase eventually with another playoff series here. If you want my honest-to-God prediction, I'll say that the Islanders take it in 6. I mean, again, like, the Islanders have played better as of late, but this year just hasn't been their year. But the Penguins haven't won their division in a long, long time, so this is unfamiliar territory for them, and even then, when they have won their division, it's not exactly as if the Penguins in the playoffs have played like those Cup winners that we've grown accustomed to. So maybe they do get the train back on the track and they pull one more magic run with Crosby and company out of their you-know-whats, but something tells me it's definitely not it's not a complete and utter certainty. Also, by the way, gotta love how on Sunday at 11 a.m. there will be playoff hockey. And in a battle, in the the Battle of Florida, Tampa Bay Lightning taking on the Florida Panthers. Yeah, I know. Who saw this series coming? I mean, the fact that the Florida Panthers made the playoffs and they actually played like, the team that they should have been is not only astonishing, but it's really, really good. I mean, Bakarov, Jonathan Huberdeau, Keith Yandel, Sergei Bobrovsky finally playing up to at least a fraction of his contract, unlike last year. I mean, the Panthers may not have the greatest amount of depth of any team in the playoffs, but they have gelled well as a unit. That's kind of led them to where they are now, probably in their best position to win a cup since the franchise was established. Now, I won't say that they are going to win the cup. I will also say that I don't know if they have if they will be able to withstand Tampa Bay. I do think that they have a shot against Tampa Bay, and I think this game, that the series with them goes to 7 games. And here's the thing. I know that may come across as a bit of a shocker, but I think it goes to 7 games, and I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to pick the Panthers to win in 7. Now watch me be wrong, and the Tampa Bay Lightning go back to the Stanley Cup for a second consecutive year because I jinxed them. But I do think that they've actually gotten things kind of all together regarding the team. And Joel Quenneville is finally proving why he is such a legendary coach in this league, the NHL, because he is. I mean, he's just good at what he does. I think he's done a great job scheming around these players, a lot of them in Florida that have a lot of raw potential but were never able to put it together. Or in the case of Borowski, he was always on a good player but never seemed to make it at the very end. So, yeah, Florida might be a dark horse for me this year in the playoffs, all things considered. The next series, the Nashville Predators, they made it by the skin of their cat teeth, or their saber teeth, rather, and they're taking on the Hurricanes. Look, I don't think the Hurricanes are getting enough credit for how good they played this year, and the fact of the matter is, they actually have 3 viable options in goaltending, in net, that could play for any team, that could play and start for any team in the NHL at this point in their time. It's amazing to think that Peter Mrazek spent most of the year injured, yet James Reimer and Andrei Nevedjev, I believe I butchered that, he and them have he and Reimer have held down the fort pretty well, all things considered, and the Hurricanes are looking like a very formidable threat. Off the back of Sebastian Aho, who's definitely proving that his contract extension was worth it. Dougie Hamilton anchoring the blue line. It's very hard to bet against the Hurricanes, if I'm being perfectly honest. I know it's easy to overlook them, considering the road they'll have to take to get to the Cup final, but, the Hurricanes are known for deep playoff runs. I mean, if you take the pandemic thing out last year, they've really never have been eliminated in the first round, to my knowledge. So, it'll be interesting to see. The Predators, I mean, I give them credit for trying to put things together, but it's just a mess still in Nashville. Matt Duchene hasn't worked out like they had hoped. I mean, Roman Josi has done pretty well, all things considered, but when the leader in goal scoring is Chel, let me see if I'm pronouncing this correct. Chel Jarnach, who, granted, is a second-round pick, by the way, from the Detroit Red Wings over 11 years ago. So he's not exactly a scrub guy in terms of prospect potential, but not exactly a guy that I think a lot of people would think of and say, this guy is the leading scorer on the Nashville Predators, because he is. He's got 13 goals. And I don't know if that speaks to the actually just the lack of depth and performance. And I think that's what's going to ultimately kill them. Now, I don't ever want to say outright, especially in the first round, that a team is going to get swept, because I think that that's a foolish proposition to predict a sweep. I think a sweep is just something that happens when one team comes in and they play very well. But I think in the playoffs, when all the chips are down and everything's on the line, that even the worst team in the quote-unquote in the playoffs will find a way to actually win at least one game and make it a 5-game series. And that's kind of what I predict here. I think Nashville, Pekka Rinne, he's running out of gas, and UC Sarios hasn't been the transition plan that they were hoping for, among other factors. But I do think that they maybe the Predators steal one, but yeah, it's very hard to predict against Carolina, especially in the first round of this year's playoffs. Sorry, Nashville, because you do feed into the Milwaukee Admirals, and therefore I feel a bit of loyalty to you because of, a bit of hometown solidarity, but yeah, it's just not going to happen this time around. Anyways, let's see. The next series is the Blues versus the Avalanche. Well, the Blues have played pretty well, all things considered, to get back to this point. But I'm going to be perfectly honest. I think the Avalanche, not just because they won the President's Trophy, which ordinarily is a kiss of death, but I do think because the Avalanche have just played so well, I think it's very hard to predict against them. And it's actually almost kind of sad that St. Louis, they had a rough year overall, but they still managed to get it together enough, especially with injuries. Once again, St. Louis just hit with so many injuries. It almost seems like a curse for them, but they managed to get through it, and they're still looking pretty good. They've got a lot of good performing pieces in Perron and Ryan O'Reilly. Tarasenko, when he's on the ice, is, of course, a lethal weapon. But, I mean, the defense is probably one of the weaker ones in the playoffs overall. And Jordan Bennington has definitely regressed from the goalie that he was in the Stanley Cup playoff run in 2019. And the fact that the Blues re-signed him to a massive extension, I don't necessarily disagree with the idea of the extension. It just makes me wonder if they thought it through all the way, because Bennington hasn't exactly lived up to his current contract, or his past contract, or his past reputation, making me wonder if he was just a one-hit wonder who got exposed. And it's definitely possible. I think that the Avalanche and the Blues do go to 7 games, but I do think that the Avalanche ultimately end up taking that series. So there's that. And I guess you're probably wondering then, well, where's the All-Canada division? Because I've covered every other playoff match except for the All-Canada division for the first round. Yeah, hold your horses. Unfortunately, the first round of the All-Canada division playoffs does not start until Wednesday with the Jets and the Oilers. My Winnipeg Jets and the Oilers. Oh, God. Now, remember what I said earlier about circling back to a certain phrase about a team being that a team can beat another team? It's just a matter of will they beat the other team? That's the case with Winnipeg Jets. They've had a rough time with Edmonton overall, especially Connor McDavid and Draisaitl in the top line, although honestly, everybody's had trouble with that top line of the Oilers in the Canada division, period. So it's not a unique feat, or it's not a unique conundrum. I mean, seriously, McDavid in just 55 games, 33 goals, 71 assists, and 104 points. That's just insane. Compare that to the Jets' leading scorer, at least in goals, Kyle Connor, 24 goals. Mark Scheifele, 40 assists. Leader Scheifele in points with 61. Now, that's not exactly terrible for 55 games, and I say 55 because they technically have one more to play tonight against Toronto, the Jets do, which is really nothing more than to just close out the season because the two teams had a postponed game at some point in the season. But I mean, you take that away, and really, the stats are basically kind of set in stone. And the Oilers, too, obviously have one more game to play, so McDavid's numbers could be even more ridiculous. He could add, 2 more goals and a couple of assists. I mean, and, this is kind of tying into the other team in the All-Canada division that is the number 1 seed, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Austin Matthews had a great year, but it's very, very hard to deny that the MVP, the regular season MVP, is not Connor McDavid. I mean, come on, those numbers are just ridiculous. And not only that, but just what he's done. There's a reason why Connor McDavid was sought after by so many teams as a number 1 pick, to the point where people where the Oilers, the Sabres, and a handful of others were trying to tank to get him in that particular draft. Now, the Oilers are beatable. I mean, they have a pretty good top 6, and then if their depth shows up, then you're in a lot of trouble. But the thing is that the depth doesn't always show up for the Oilers, so it's very interesting to see. Now, for the Jets have all the talent but they have a suspect defense, and they struggled mightily down the stretch, especially Connor Hellebuyck, and especially the defense. And actually, I don't even know if that's accurate, because the defense actually played pretty dang well, all things considered, down the stretch. It's really just the fact that they could not score any goals against any of their opponents down the line that basically prevented them from actually winning any of the games that they needed to win. There was actually a point in time where the Jets were actually in contention for the top seed in the North Division, and then they went on a losing skid in April. They lost 6 in a row at the worst possible time. Hellebuyck was, or actually I think it was 7 in a row. Hellebuyck lost 6 of them in a row, and that just didn't necessarily inspire a lot of confidence in the team, to say the least. Now, like I said, are the Jets completely out of it? No, not even in the slightest. And like I was saying earlier, the Jets can beat the Oilers. But as a Jets fan, I do have to be honest. Can the Jets do it? I mean, if Nikolai Ehlers is actually back to full health and the defense shows up, I could see this being a 7-game series. The thing is I don't know if I want it to be a 7-game series, because I do think that we lose that type of a tilt. If I'm being honest, and I'm being quite fair, I think the Jets can win a series if it ends in 6 games and the defense plays incredibly well. If I'm being honest, outside of my hopes for the Jets to actually win the series as a fan, I think that the Oilers ultimately do take the series in 7 games. Mostly because while I believe McDavid and the top 6 will probably go off, the problem is a similar one to the Jets, in that if the depth doesn't show up, the team's very beatable. Plus, I will say this. Say what you will about Connor Hellebuyck having struggles down the stretch, and he did have struggles down the stretch, but I'm not necessarily too crazy about Mike Smith not turning into or being able to once again turn back the clock the way that he has, because let's be clear, Mike Smith has played incredibly well this year for the Oilers, but I'm wondering if he's played way too much over his head as the old grizzled vet. And if they have to start Mikko Koskinen in net, I'm wondering if the Oilers drop a handful of games. Whereas with the Jets, I think if Hellebuck finds his mojo, the Jets are very much have a shot, because Hellebuck, despite all of his struggles down the stretch, was a very, very good goaltender. On top of that, Laurent Brossoit was finally given a more consistent role as a 1A goaltender, and I think he proved, honestly, that if you gave him more playing time and you trusted him in actual, like, big game scenarios, Brossoit could carry the Jets if the defense does their job. And that was the other problem, was that, of course, the defense didn't always do its job, and therefore, unfortunately, that happened to be when the Jets fell apart in the worst possible moments. But let's be real. I mean, again, there is an opportunity for the Jets to win this series. A lot of things definitely do need to break right for them, but I don't rule it out either. Whether they go now, if they go very far in the playoffs after that, that's anybody's guess. Like, some people have basically written off the winner of the Canada division as a joke that won't make it past the Cup semis no matter what. And, I mean, it's possible, but, I mean, I'm not going to say no either. Now, I'm going to cover the last series in the playoffs here. And then after that, I'm going to give my Cup Finals prediction, because I'm not going to go through each and every round who I think is going to win in my bracket or anything, because I don't want to risk being wrong. Although I will say who I think is going to be in the conference semifinal, who is going to win from the conference semi, or from the conferences. So there's that. And the last playoff series to discuss is the Toronto Maple Leafs against the Montreal Canadiens. It's the first time that the two teams have played in the playoffs since 1974, which that in alone is just amazing to me. And I guess I should clarify, the first time since they met in the first round since 1974. Still impressive nonetheless. I think the Canadiens obviously were playing a bit over their heads. I think that I'm actually kind of surprised, because they fired their head coach in the middle of the season, and they actually did make the playoffs. I think some of the players that some of the moves that they made were very puzzling in the middle of the season, but I'm not going to pretend that the actual results of the moves didn't actually matter, because hey, they worked. You're in the playoffs, you have a chance. Mark Bergevin, the GM of the Canucks, is just basically, can wipe the sweat off his brow and just breathe a sigh of relief that he will probably still have a job, barring a sweep against the Leafs. And I don't know. I mean, hey, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. They haven't hit it out of the first round in, 15 years, and they've got a reputation for choking big time. I would laugh if it was against the Canadiens, but I do think that they're good enough to not have to worry about that. I think, if anything, this is the year where they put at least the getting past the first round bit to bed. Now, whether or not they actually do make it out of the All-Canada division, that's, again, something to be determined. But I am going to pick the Maple Leafs, even though the memes and the reputation for failure, despite talent that they have on the roster, would tell you otherwise. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see about that. Anyways, let me just give you who I think is going to win. Then
I don't think the goaltender gets a look at
from
this at all, Jake.
the
He just drops the
divisions,
butterfly. He's
and
hoping
then
the thing hits him through that traffic.
let's see. Yeah, the 4 teams playing to the semifinal round, and then
Got that lead. They were talking about wanting to quiet that home crowd here.
Well, they certainly did. Out of the gate quickly, a couple of shifts. Now they're up 1-0.
I'm trying to see here now.
By Nudibara. Kapanen's got it in the
Let's see.
Close save.
I think, all things considered, everything being equal, that I think the Hurricanes are going to win.
Still plenty of time left.
They're not only going to win the Central, but they're also going to win against whoever they face in the from the East. And I think that in the East, they're going to actually end up facing the Washington Capitals. So it's going to be a 1 versus 2 there. And then I think in the North Division, again, part of me really, really wants the Jets to be that team. But realistically speaking, it's more than likely going to be Toronto. Yes. I know. I am as shocked as you to think that the Toronto Maple Leafs will at least win the division, but I do think that they will fall to the Colorado Avalanche. Ooh, yeah, I know. I went there. They're going to fall to the Avalanche, and the Avalanche will be in the Cup Finals this year against the Carolina Hurricanes. That is my Cup Finals prediction. And you want to know who I think is going to win the Stanley Cup this year? I'm going to go Carolina Hurricanes. The Hurricanes have played extremely good hockey all year long, and I really don't think that they get enough credit for being a legitimate contender this year, as in terms of the playoffs and the Stanley Cup. I really just don't think that they do. I mean, Nito Niederreiter, Vinny Trocheck, Svechnikov is developing. I mean, Nedeljkovic, that's the name of the goalie. I mean, Nedeljkovic Alex Nedeljkovic has under 2 goals allowed per game in 23 games this year with a .932 save percentage. He was a forgotten prospect, and yet he's playing amazingly. Then you have Mrazek and Reimer. All their goalies are under 3 goals allowed per game. And yeah, Mrazek is banged up, but he has been, I mean, he did play towards the end of the season against Nashville in the season finale. I mean, Reimer is still playing too. The fact that you can roll 3 goalies in the playoffs that all could easily go out there and get you a win when you need it the most, I got to tell you, that's going to be difficult to defend for every other team in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And you have a lot of great depth that's very underrated in Jesper Faust and Warren Fogle, Brock McGinn, Cedric Paquette. I mean, Jake Gardner and Yanni Hakanpää was a great pick for was a great pickup for defensive grit and depth. I mean, it really is hard to say. And they're also healthy, too. That's the other thing. Nobody on their roster is on the injured reserve heading into the playoffs. And that in of itself might make the difference, because there are a lot of other teams, top teams in the playoffs, that are missing maybe not a lot of pieces, but they're coming in a little banged up. And as such, it definitely does create for some more interesting scenarios, to say the very least. But yeah, I mean that's my Cup prediction. And how many games do I think it will take for the Hurricanes to defeat the Avalanche? I'll go 6 games for the Hurricanes to beat the Avs. Hey yo, Jack, no, check out his channel, bros. Hey man, thanks for joining. But yes, seriously, do please check out Jack No at twitch.tv. Very good friend of mine, and he really deserves more viewers, and he's been kind enough to offer me plenty of advice to try and help make your guys' streaming experience with me that much better. So I can't help but thank him for that. And the AI is currently playing this game. That's why I am able to actually ramble and rant the way that I was about the playoffs. And I think after this game, I will actually step onto the ice rink myself, metaphorically speaking, and play one more game before I call it a stream tonight, because I actually got through the playoffs discussion a little bit faster than I had anticipated, because that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I was hoping to give a bit of a basic brief thoughts on who I thought was going to win the opening round matchups, and who I felt was going to go all the way to win the Cup this year. I'm probably not going to do a bracket like I did last year, although I am kind of proud of myself that last year when I picked the bracket, I actually had at least 2 of the teams that were that I had predicted correctly to go to the conference finals. They just happen to be the losers of the conference finals, not the winners. So yeah, but yeah, they'll definitely be very interesting. I do not have alert command, but thank you very much, sir. So yeah, we're just hanging out. We're just doing some shelling and chilling, nothing special. It's been a pretty high-scoring first period for the AI here, though. Definitely. That's the problem with having a whole bunch of grinders and those types of players on your team. They take way too many penalties when the AI is playing.
A chance to capitalize here on the power play. Konechny's won the draw. Puck scooped by Van Riemsdyk.
By the way, this is the power rankings according to like some people. The season power rankings after 4 months, the end of play. The Cup favorite category in a tier list, according to a meme from Blind Ref Logic, by the way. Each row is ranked. Cup favorites: the Avalanche, the Hurricanes, which is my pick, and I've got the Avalanche against the Hurricanes in the Cup final. And then the Vegas Golden Knights, Tampa Bay, and then the Washington Capitals. And to be fair, I have the Capitals in the semifinals. So, I mean, technically speaking, Cup contenders: the Penguins, the Panthers, the Bruins, the Wild, the Oilers, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Lucky if you'll survive round 1 on the tier list. My Winnipeg Jets, I would have been offended by that like a month ago, but now it's pretty accurate, unfortunately. Like I said, the Jets are going to need a lot of things to break right. They're just going to need to play generally better, my Winnipeg Jets, unfortunately, to win the Cup. Hell, to get out of the first round. The Islanders just have had a rough year all go around. Losing your captain. Losing their captain to injury definitely didn't help matters. The Blues, who, despite a strong season, just happened to play in a really tough division and therefore couldn't break through. The Predators, who barely eked into the playoffs, and of course the Canadiens fell just short. The Rangers, who as a result of falling just short, basically said, "Screw it, you're all out." Like they basically said to their entire coaching staff, to their coach, they said that to their GM and their president, all fired within 2 weeks, and all before the end of the season. So technically speaking. The Stars, who made the Cup final last year but couldn't win. The Blackhawks, I feel really bad. I know a couple people who are Blackhawks fans. They actually played much better than I expected them to, actually. It's actually scary to think that a couple of injuries break their way or don't break like a couple of members of their core, and they might actually be in the Stanley Cup playoffs as a result. I mean, but now, I mean, who knows if Jonathan Taves ever plays another game for you, and Duncan Keith, or no, was it Duncan? It wasn't Duncan Keith. It was Andrew Shaw, who, yeah, he wasn't exactly contributing a whole heck of a lot to your team, but the fact that the guy had to retire due to concussion issues, I mean, yeesh, that's never a good sign. The Coyotes, yeah, they actually were a couple of games away from actually making the playoffs again. And then the Kings again, they were kind of in rebuild mode, but because their division was a little more open, they actually almost made it. You're a disgrace is part of this tier list from Blind Ref Logic. The Flames, that's definitely the case. The Flames, they just, no pun intended, flamed out this year. They had all the talent, and they couldn't put it together because they have no goaltending really to speak of. The Sharks are in free fall. They just don't know what they're doing anymore, it seems like. The Flyers, who, like Carter Hart, poor guy. He's a really young goalie, so he can still like put it together or get it back together. But geez, he just fell apart. The Canucks, well, they unfortunately just were victims of a COVID outbreak. They could have made the playoffs too had they had been able to play in March, as opposed to basically not knowing whether their season was going to continue. And then the Blue Jackets, they just fell completely apart too, to the point where they actually finally got rid of John Tortorella. I did not think it was going to happen, but they did it. John Tortorella, he's gone. And him and all of his maddening rants. Now, will they, and his less than stellar player relations, does that mean that they will in fact keep Patrick Laine? I do not know, but something tells me that with Tortorella gone, their odds to do so went up exponentially. And then the gang's all here for the very bottom, the lowest of the low. The Ducks, the Devils, the Senators, the Red Wings, and the Sabres. And yeah, they all pretty much just fell apart. And I shouldn't say that they all pretty much fell apart. They all pretty much just had no. Like, they just had no chance this year. The Ducks might have had a chance to put something together, but everybody else in the gang's all here category, they knew they were just punting this season away. Oh, wow. For professional wrestling fans, this is actually kind of sad. ECW alum and genuine crazy man, or at least a guy who many people saw as plenty crazy both in the ring and out of the ring. Jerome New Jack Young passed away today. So damn, that stinks. Nice over the boards hockey. Posting the Tampa Bay Lightning logo on a casket with the Undertaker sitting up in it, because Steven Stamkos and Nikita Kucherov, they're both injured, but the playoffs are about to start, so I have a feeling that yes, they will probably in fact, make it back to the playoffs because, well, yeah. So,
Denies the chance by blocking it. Moves it quickly over to Tuck. The Flyers gain possession along the wall. Here they come on the attack. Oh, had a chance to make a nice move, and the puck disagreed with him.
One too many moves. The shot might have been there, but the puck's off his stick. Oh, that's going to be a penalty.
so yeah, that's a little
Play
sad.
alone, dead penalty coming up here. Brouwer's been nabbed for tripping.
They're going to be down a man here. His stick into the player's feet. It's almost inevitable a tripping penalty will result.
Tough to argue that call. And the man advantage unit goes right back to work.
Every once in a while when you're on the power play, you fall asleep for just a moment and you give up a shorty. They're a real kick in the pants. They've done that tonight. Here's a chance to erase that shorthanded marker with another power play.
Yeah,
Philadelphia's got the puck along the boards. Gets it over to Hayes. Some great thievery in the open ice. Stevenson's got it in the offensive zone. Passes it to Hayes. Hayes plays it into the offensive zone. Hammers the shot. There's the go-ahead goal, and we have a new game.
Take it now, you
dang it.
push the pace, you push the other guys back on their heels. Man, you dream about this, where you got enough room to push the puck forward, walk into it, and hammer a slap shot.
Philadelphia's given themselves control of this game now with a one-goal lead in the second.
They'd like to get another before they go in for the second intermission. You'd love at least a couple goal lead going into period 3.
And he sends it across to Couturier. Tees it up from the blue line. Great glove save.
57 seconds.
Philadelphia's message going into this one when we talked to them at the morning skate was to get a lot of pucks on net. They've done just that, and they lead as a result. Grabbed along the boards by Nudivara, and he slides it quickly to Tuck. Here's a blast. No room for that one to get through. And now he tries to get it across to Nudivara. The demolition crew have possession at center.
So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm reading Facebook now
Just wide.
because I'm trying to
The puck along the boards.
well, while I let the AI finish this
Gonna play
game.
against the half wall. Puts the puck on net. Denied by the goaltender. Wisconsin's looking to break out of their own end. Gets the puck in deep. Philadelphia's got the puck along the wall. Moves the puck across to Hartman. Hartman's got it against the boards. Quick feed to Patrick. And that's picked off. Sprong's got it across the
Wow!
line.
Congratulations, by the way, to the.
Lumps the puck into the offensive zone corner. Quick
Oh, I'm
shot.
sorry. Never mind.
Save in front.
I was never mind. I was reading something from a couple days ago, so never mind.
And now
I'm not
it's over to
gonna
the
share
right.
old
Goes
news.
to the middle. Takes a shot. That goes off the twing. Philadelphia's up for good reason. They have been the more complete team offensively, which is why they lead late in the second. Good read by the winger as the two centers tie up. Carries it in. And it takes a shot off the crossbar.
Ah,
What an
dang.
opportunity right
just like real life.
Wisconsin's ability to get back in this game is going to rely partly on luck. They get a bad break there as the puck hits the post and stays out.
Shoots it, and he rings the post.
Oh man.
Stopped by the goaltender.
Sharp reaction save.
Gets the puck over to McDonald. Back to the point it goes. Lowers the boom with
Woof.
that hit. Wisconsin's got a hold of it against the wall.
Dang.
And that'll do it for period number 2.
As a safety issue and courtesy to you, our fellow fans, Please keep the aisles clear during gameplay and wait for a break in the action to leave or return to your seat.
High scoring affair for the
Don't
AI.
go anywhere. Third period is coming up, and it's coming up next.
All right.
And they are ready to drop the puck on period number 3. It's been quite the night of fireworks thus far. Let's see what this third period can do to keep up. 40 minutes into this one here, Razor. How do you see things?
Philadelphia's ahead in this high-chance, high-danger game. No use changing the way you're going to play now.
Maybe. If I was a computer, I'd try to change a little.
Stops that one. Keeps hold of the puck. Passes over to Van Riemsdyk. They've got the defense outnumbered. Here's a short pass to Provorov. Rips it from the blue line. Here's an opportunity in front of the net. And here's a shot. Oh, just wide.
Right in his wheelhouse, he powders it, but just misses.
Kapanen's got it along the wing. Reads it perfectly, breaking up the play. Looking to make something happen along the boards. Denies him in front.
That's in a dangerous spot. He makes a good save here.
Philadelphia's turned good defense into good offense as they lead it early in this third period. Center's jammed up and the winger grabs the puck. And that one's turned away. The Flyers lead this one early in the third period. They have been the more aggressive team offensively with the lead in the shot department. Knocked away. Wisconsin's got a hold of it along the wall. Brings the puck into the offensive end now. Good defensive effort to poke it away. Oh, what a stop. Hart's going to opt for the whistle and give everybody a chance to breathe.
Sometimes you get running around as the shift gets long. This helps.
Inching closer to the midway mark of this period. It's a one-goal hockey game in what has been a fantastic display of offense. It's 5-4. Good defensive stop with the poke check. Shot! Oh, he'd like a mulligan on that miss.
Yo, you got to get it on net, James. Yeah, the mulligan would be great because you don't even test the goalie here.
You never had that happen, right?
Many, many times.
Slides the puck over. Quick pass to Strong. With all kinds of traffic, he grabs the puck here inside his own end. Handles the saucer pass beautifully. Here's a chance out front. Stopped by the goaltender.
He clearly thought he had room to get by, but it got closed off in a hurry. He took a big hit there.
Philadelphia has been the better team tonight. They have turned good defense into solid offense, and they lead here in the third. While the centers are jammed up, nice job by the winger to steal the puck. Now he takes it over the line. On the attack along the boards. Shot in front. Oh, he's going to be shaking his head after that one.
Yeah, you go back to the bench here, kicking yourself. There's going to be a penalty on this play here, James.
We got a penalty coming up here as the officials blow the play dead. And he's heading to the box.
Another penalty.
Such a bad penalty to take because you put yourself in a bad spot. A player falls down. Now you're cooked. You go to the box.
Well, he's got 2 minutes to think about it now. The power play unit goes right back to work.
There's another power play for them, James. They've already scored on the power play tonight, so they must have some pretty good feel for it. They also have to be aware the penalty killers will adjust. They will have to, too.
Gets it out of his own end. Retrieves the puck, trying to kickstart this power play. Gostisbehere's got it into offensive territory. And now he moves it to Van Riemsdyk. Wisconsin's penalty killers get a hold of it and manages to clear the zone. Philadelphia's got the puck. Slides the pass over to Patrick. There's the physical side. And the defenders come up with the puck. Philadelphia's trying to make something happen in the offensive zone. Gets it out of his own end. The Flyers have it against the wall. Over the line they come. Sends it across. Nice play shorthanded as they get control of the puck. And manages to clear the zone. Philadelphia's gained possession along the boards. Pass to Voracek. Slides it across. Too many bodies in the way. Deflected away. Nice defensive use of the stick there. Handles the puck. He scores!
Add that power play goal to the
Oh, man. Come on, team.
The extra man here. The power play cashes in. They move the puck around and get the puck right into the middle of the slot. He makes no mistake from there.
Whoops. Sorry, didn't mean to pause.
Here with just minutes remaining in the third. Okay, channel your inner coach here. What do you say?
I'm trying not to let anybody be comfortable with the lead. Even though it's a great spot to be, I want guys staying aggressive so we can play in the offensive end of the ice. Oh, look at that. Here we go. We got a penalty coming up right here.
And the officials...
Oh, come on, guys.
Got to move your feet here. You're chasing the play. As soon as you stop your feet, you're going to get called.
As we're about to drop the puck, the power play unit back out onto the ice for another opportunity.
Once you get a power play goal early in a game, you start to feel pretty good about yourself. Now you get another opportunity. You feel like you're going to score for sure.
And that's broken up with a stick in front. Pins them against the boards as they battle for the loose puck. Shot! Stopped by the goaltender. More than half the frame has been played here. Philadelphia's been the better team here over the last few minutes, increasing their lead to 2. Pesci's got it through the neutral zone. Takes the pass. Big save. And now it's grabbed by Sanheim. Sanheim's got it on the offensive end. Takes the feed. Comes up with the stop. And that's another power play marker.
The power play coach is going to be pumped. They had done some
Dang
excellent
it.
work on the power play over the last 10 days or so. Really paying off tonight. The rebound snapped away. What a nice shot. But the goalie's got to do a better job cleaning up that rebound. You can't leave it right there.
The Flyers have put in a complete team effort tonight, but they really look good offensively.
Their arms are going to be tired from all the times they've had them up in the air here. This has been a dominating offensive performance.
Assisted by number 13,
Moves it around along the half wall. Here's a shot. Scores! Now it's a 2-goal game.
Well, now they've got something to build on here. They feel now, I'm sure, like they're in the game because when you're down 3, it seems forever away.
Wisconsin's still got to find 2 more goals, but they at least have 1 back.
That gives them a little bit of hope, and the bench seems to have come alive a little bit.
Good job tangling up his opponent here. Hayes brings it in. The demolition crew have the puck against the boards. Nielsen's got the puck. Oh, that's a good hit. Great heads-up play in the defensive zone. Slides the puck across to Bailey. Bailey's got it along the boards. Moves the puck. From the point, they take control of it. Moved to the middle. Here's a chance. Fires the wrist shot. Makes the stop with the blocker. Brouwer stick handling in his own zone. And tries to make a diagonal pass to Sprong. Can't maintain possession after that hit. Stopped by the goaltender.
Once the second one goes in, whether you're a scorer or not, you start thinking about, hey, maybe I could get a hat trick. He's never had one.
Philadelphia's offense, the story tonight as they lead it here in this third period. Puck is dropped and he wins the draw here in the defensive zone. Tuck's carrying it ahead. Hammers it, makes the save. Slides it diagonally to Thornton. He got all of that one.
Well, after that hit, he's slowly working his way to the bench. He is not feeling very good.
They desperately need a goal. The net is empty and the extra attacker's out. Wisconsin's got control of it now from their own end. Under a minute to go in the third. Turns him away.
Thornton's still trying to shake off the effects of this hit. He really took a thump there.
A critical face-off looms here with the empty net.
When the goalie's out, this face-off is all important. Win the draw, have a chance.
And a solid job tying up his opponent. Fires into the empty net. Puck grabbed by Carlo. Boucher swooping in on the attack. Here's a howitzer at the net, and a great save. And off the save, that one goes into the crowd souvenir.
Heh. My lumberjack mascot. Let's get fired up. The atrocity that he is.
You practice this, you're ready for it, and it starts with the face-off.
And as the puck is dropped, they win the draw here inside the defensive zone.
And that's it.
Scores, which should end it.
That should wrap it up. Pretty comfortable now.
Dang it.
Empty netter. Well, now you got a couple of goal lead here with the empty netter. That should be enough to put this away.
Yeah, we see the replay. It was a good goal.
Philadelphia's put in one of their most complete efforts that we have seen in quite some time, up big time late in this third. Face off here in the neutral zone, and we are back underway. Here's an odd man rush. With possession along the wall. Comes up with a big pad save to deny. Looking to make something happen in the offensive zone. Here's a shot and makes the save. Moves it to Patrick. Takes that one right in the logo. Philadelphia's offense has not been a problem tonight. They put a lot of shots on net and lead it big time late in this third period. There's the final horn, and that'll do it here
well, that was a rough game.
Ray is a guy who's got over 400 goals in the NHL. I would think in moments like this, it's just one giant collective exhale.
You can't even believe how bad you feel, how embarrassed you feel when your team's on a long losing streak. And to have it come to an end is such a great feeling.
And that's all she wrote on this one for Ray Ferraro. My name is James Cebulski. We'll see you next time here on EA Sports.
And I think I'm actually going to end up calling this stream the moment I get back to the menu and save, because I am a little tired today, and I think that honestly, I said all the things that I kind of wanted to say about the NHL playoffs, and there's really not much else I wanted to talk about. I mean, I could play another game, but admittedly, it's not very fun if I'm not offering any real commentary or intrigue in that regard. I'll definitely be back with a little more energy and pep in my step when I stream next time on Monday, where we will continue streaming Batman Arkham City, and we will be streaming Batman Arkham City on Mondays until I win and beat the game. And by that I mean the main story and possibly the challenge rooms and DLC, but that's neither here nor there. I'd like to thank each and every single one of you, or anyone who decided to watch this, and who knows, maybe I'll be doing other streams at some point in time this weekend, but I don't want to bank on it or, necessarily get your hopes up. But regardless, thank you all for joining me for just a brief, nice little Chel and chill. For a nice brief Chel and chill here tonight on a Friday night. Hope you all have a good rest of your one. Don't get too wasted or too out of control. Oh, goodbye, everybody.